the best way to avoid Zoom bombing and also to enable attendance taking. So if you go to zoom.com, it will ask you to log in. I am currently logged in, so I'm going to go ahead and log out. Okay, so you hit sign in, want to log in to zoom.com. You can type your credentials here, but the easiest thing, of course, is sign in with Google. This is also what we're going to instruct our students to do. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my Google account. So now I'm in my Google account. I'm going to go straight to settings here on the left nav. You can click settings. So the first setting I want you to see is I'm going to turn on the waiting room. And then the second setting is to edit the options of the waiting room options. So if we go in here, it basically, this first section is who goes to the waiting room. So you could set it to everyone, but I'm finding this one to be very useful. So anybody who is not in my account, meaning anyone who doesn't have an OUSD.org email address, will go to the waiting room, right? So even if they authenticate, so maybe they authenticate as Gmail or something else, Zoom will call them a guest. It'll put guest in their name, and it'll put them in the waiting room, and anybody with OUSD.org will come straight into my account. So I'm finding that to work really nice. And the next here, it says customize waiting room. So what I've also placed in here is just left some notes. So if you get put into the waiting room, basically then the student gets if the student goes in there on accident, meaning they use their personal Gmail address, they'll get this note that says, hey, log out and log back in with the right address. You can also put in a logo and stuff, but I haven't done that. All right. Let's scroll down. I don't do any of these passcode things. I don't find them to be useful. Anybody can get your passcode, especially if you put the passcode in the link. It seems to me to not make any sense because now the passcode doesn't mean anything. However, I do require the passcode for anybody joining by phone. I find joining by phone to be very helpful. Some of my students can't get on the calls by the internet every once in a while. Something goes down, but they can dial in. And so that's really helpful to have them dial in. But here are the next things. These two settings I think are critical. Only authenticated users can join meetings. Make sure that one is on. And only authenticated users can join meetings from web client. Make sure that one is on. So this will take care of the Chromebooks as well. And that way, they can only get into your meeting if they are logged in. So you know they have a real account and it's a real person with a real account. And you're filtering out anyone who's not OUSD using your waiting room. So feel free to stop the video here, but I'm going to go on a little farther and just sort of show you what this experience looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and hit host a meeting, and I'll just do it with my video off right now. So open Zoom meetings. So so now I have an empty Zoom meeting, right? And if you look here at participants, I can pull open my participants, and of course it's just me right now. But down here you have these options. So I'm going to click this triple dot, and you see I do have meeting room enabled. That's critical. Make sure that is done. You also have this allow participants to unmute themselves. Somebody had asked previously, can you not allow them to unmute yourself? So you can click that. It becomes pretty annoying to have to manage all of the unmuting and unmuting of them. I don't like it. I would rather teach kids just not to be obnoxious, but that's not always possible. And then allow participants to rename themselves. I like that. I think it's fine because you've got their email address, so you know who they are, and now they can add their pronouns or any other things that they like. Okay, so I'm going to put this on pause and go log in from another computer. Okay, so now you can see I have logged in with my personal account, and you can see because it's not an OUSD address, I've automatically been put in the waiting room. I could admit the person. I could send the person a message, and the person is also getting the message that I told you about.